Hold on. And we are back from the break. It is Hillsboro Burros 28, Overton 7. Hillsboro in the white uniforms, green pants, green helmets with the two yellow stripes on the side. Overton is in the smoky grays, gray jersey, gray pants, red outline down the side with the red helmets and the gray outline down the middle. We have got an interesting matchup so far. Hillsboro has seemed to have dominated. Overton has showed some signs, though, however, and it's looked like it's Hillsboro today.
Yeah, it's a humid day out there. All players have kind of stayed in the game. Very little cramp so far. We've only seen one player kind of have to hop off the field, and that was number 29, Michael Grant. But so far, like you said, I mean, it's been complete domination from Hillsboro so far. They got a 28-7 lead heading into the half. We got a minute 30 before they play out this second half. And Ben, like you said, a 3-score lead for the Burros, something you definitely like to hear. And Burro fans, I'm sure at home, wherever you're listening, happy to hear.
Yeah, last week we saw it, and this week we're seeing it again. You know, it's been a Burros team where they've dominated on both sides of the ball, which is something that's been key for this team. They can win on offense, they can win on defense. So it has been a good part for this Hillsboro team. And Overton so far, the offense, it seems like they have Ian Carey's arm has seemed a bit lackluster, so they don't really trust it. But the running back, Jadon Stafford, had 3 fumbles early, but he seemed to have stepped up, and he's shown some explosions later in the game.
Jadon Stafford is really the only reason they're still in this football game. Braden True has seen some action in the backfield, but Ian Carey, number 17, I don't know. He's maybe thrown one pass, and it was a quick screen. So if Ian Carey wants to bring this team back, he's going to have to be able to air the football out, or else it's going to be back-to-back blowout weeks for Overton. They're teetering on a blowout right now. Lost 50-3 last week, and they've got some tough games later in their schedule. I mean, they play at Independence, at Ravenwood, and not to mention the East High School next week at East. All these games, very, very tough games and a very tough road stretch coming up. They're going to have to fight through this battle.
Yeah, you know, of course. And for a team, Ian Carey so far has been somewhere he's really we haven't seen much. And for a team down 3 scores, you are going to need an arm late. And, you know, really, it might not even be him at this point. It might be the OC. You're going to have to figure something out. You're going to have to figure out what Carey's comfortable with and see how he can pass the ball down.
Yeah. And, I mean, you're going to have an arm who can get out and throw the football a little bit. I will say they are warming up the freshman Terry Slater, number 18, overthrowing on the left sideline nearest to us. He's throwing with the receiver, number 1, Connor Gallman. And it's going to be an interesting thing to see whether it's Terry or Carey to start the second half out there for Overton, because they will get the ball first.
Absolutely. You know, Overton won the toss. They elected to defer. So it will be Overton getting the ball here, and it seems like it is number 9, Javion Howard, returning the kick. It will be once again Drew Thornton out for the kickoff. And for a Burros team, they've seemed to have pinned Overton in bad field position multiple times, and it's worked out well for this team.
It has. We'll see what they can do, and it is going to be a different kicker onto the field right now. It's going to be number 43, Ben Ruiz, out on the field to kick it away for the Burros, the senior. And he is the backup kicker, joined the team just prior to the season. He does have a soccer background, and I'm going to be interested to see what he can do. It's a righty this time, not a lefty, so a little bit of a different look here, Ben.
Absolutely. Running up with the right foot, like you said, and it is a boot, and it is a line drive to about the 15-yard line received by Overton. He breaks it up the middle to the 20, 25, 30. And he runs a man over to about the 33-yard line. And that was a great truck there by the Overton returner.
Yeah, the kicker, Ben Ruiz, caught a few strays on the return there. Just trucked over by number 5, Braden True. But he got the job done, stopped him up for a little bit, and some white jerseys came swarming. Great job from Hillsboro.
Absolutely. And you know, that was an explosive return to about, I would say, they're spotting about the 34-yard line, 11:53 to go at the start of the second half. And so Overton, they're going to need some action. You know, we might see it from Jadon Stafford, but it's hard to win a game with one player.
Yeah, and I'm trying to scan the sidelines here to see whether it is Ian Carey.
It is Carey out there.
Okay.
So it could have just been a warm-up thing to get the ball back, so they warm up both players. But Carey will be back. It will be in the I form, and it will be Jadon Stafford out behind him. 2 receivers out to the left, 1 to the right. Carey under center. Number 9, Javion Howard, runs over across the middle. Ian Carey throws the ball off on the screenplay, and there is absolutely nothing. Number 14,
Yeah, and a nice screenplay there. Just really nothing going. We don't have a number 14 listed on the roster for Hillsboro. Could be a new addition. Could be a new jersey number there. But number 14 is just left blank on our roster. I will say, just nothing really going there. It was a decent screenplay from Overton. They did get the ball out of their hands, but a nice tackle from the Burros and a great defensive stop.
Excuse me. It seemed like number 19,
Nadavian Moss.
So we've seen it from him last week, and he's continuing it up this week. It will be carry once again. Number 1, Connor Gallman out wide to the left. Seems like Jadon Stafford out behind him. I form. 2 receivers out to the right. Takes the snap. Hands off to Stafford. Breaks right. 40, 45, 50. Cuts back to outside to the edge to about the 45-yard line. And swung down by, it seems like
It was number 0, Kike Baker, in on the stop, coming down from the safety spot, kind of unblocked, but if you get up to the 3rd level, you've really done your job as a running back. And Jadon Stafford does a phenomenal job behind a young O-line. Finally, Kike Baker brings him down inside Burrow territory, but it'll be enough to move the chains. It'll be enough to keep this drive going from Overton.
Absolutely, and it seemed like we said one player can't change the game, but Jadon Stafford has 100% affected this game heavily. And since the rough start of the game, he has improved heavily.
He definitely has. It'll be Overton back on the offensive side of the football, and they seem to be rolling with this pistol set, and they keep that H-back in the game.
Yeah, Stafford back out behind Carey. 2 to the left, 1 to the right, and there's a flag. And it looks like it will be a false start, I assume, on Overton.
Now, it looks like some kind of too many men on the field penalty. He's going to put his right hand over his chest, and that is the signal for too many men on the field. So they're going to run a man off. They're going to go ahead and get back up to the ball. And it's going to be 1st down and 15, a deadly penalty there from Overton to back themselves up.
Yeah, it hurts. It'll be a 1st and 15. They had great momentum at the start of this drive. Carey will be under center. He'll take the snap, fake handoff to Stafford, rolls out, hits the ball. Number 12, Nick Harrison. He's pummeled by number 2, Dominic Leonard, for a loss of, I would say, 3 yards to the Overton 45-yard line.
I mean, Ian Carey has just not proved to be a dynamic passer tonight. They continue to bring pressure on him, and it was a 3-man front, a 3-4 formation on defense from Hillsboro, and they still get pressure. It was Jaden York, Dwayne Washington, and number 68, Tyshawn Ross, the big fella, 6'2", 275, finally jumping in there and getting some action for the Burros. But, I mean, if you're running a 3-4 and getting pressure, you're doing something right.
Absolutely. And, this Burros front has showed it week after week, which we've only seen 2 weeks, but it's been week after week. And, Overton will be back in the pistol set. It'll be Carey. Fumbled snap. It's a fumble snap. Stafford jumps on the ball, and that is a massive loss of yardage. It is touchdown, I would say, to 33-yard line of Overton, which is a loss of, I would say, about 9 yards, and it'll be 3rd and 30-something, 3rd and 20-something.
Yeah, they're going to mark it as a loss of about 13 yards. They're going to mark it at their own 35-yard line, which I would say is a generous spot. It's going to be 3rd down and 28 yards to go. So a killer fumble there from Overton. So an undisciplined penalty and then a fumble makes it 3rd down and 28 as they still trail by 3 scores.
Absolutely. 9:40 left to go here at Nick Kuchar Stadium. Hillsboro 28, Overton 7. Ian Carey will take the snap, and it's fumbled again. Stafford tries to pick it up at the 27-yard line, and he just falls down once again. 2 miscommunications back-to-backs. Carey seems like he couldn't grab the ball. And that is going to be about a 4th and 32 for Overton.
Yeah, a big loss from Overton there once again. A little bit of visible frustration from the gray jerseys as they come running off the field. But if you're pinned back in your own territory on a 4th and 35, I would be too. And they do trail by 21 points, closing in on the 9-minute mark, Ben.
Absolutely. It was a great start to the drive, too, but they just saw many setbacks. So it will be Elijah back to punt it off. It'll be Bradford to return. And I'm not sure what has just happened, but there's a miscommunication.
They snapped the ball.
Bradford will return the ball from the 40 to the 45. Takes it out to the left to the 50 to the 45 to the 40.
He's got
to the
room.
35 to the 30. And he's pushed out of bounds at about the 30-yard line. And I'm not sure what happened, but it seemed like the snap happened. Elijah was just standing there with the ball. Jaden York started to run at him. And Elijah just punted one off on his right leg.
Yeah, and it was a clear miscommunication up front. Overton snapped the football, and what happened was Overton snapped it, and nobody knew that they had snapped the ball.
Exactly.
So everyone on Overton's front was just standing there, unclear of when the ball was going to be snapped. And then Hillsboro was kind of mesmerized by them, and the only one aware of the situation was Mr. Jaden York. And a great punt by the punter to get that ball off with a man right in his face. And not just a man, a 6'1", 250 man running right at you, but a great job from Overton to get that ball punted away. I will say a fabulous return by the sophomore, number 12,
Absolutely.
Javarian Bradford, to get it inside the Overton territory, probably about the 31.
There is nothing like some high school football. So it'll be Trotter back out in the gun, Marcel Burnett to his left, 2 receivers out wide to the left, and a bunch stack on the right, and it is handoff to Burnett, up the middle to the 40, to the 35. He's tackled it around the 32-yard line. Burnett just seemed to stop there, and there was multiple Bobcats attacking him there.
Yeah, multiple Bobcats. The main guy I would say would be Jacob Dansby, number 16. Caleb Johnson, number 10, was also in there on the stop. And Marcel Burnett fought for him a few more yards than he probably should have. And we've got some kind of injury timeout in the secondary by number 16, Jacob Dansby. He's holding his finger, might have got his finger caught up in somebody's helmet.
He's fighting through it, though, however. So we'll see what Hillsboro can do. Second and I would say about 4 or 5. 8:45 left to go in the third quarter. Hillsboro 28, Overton 7. And it seems to be they're stopping the clock. The refs are talking to each other, and they are pushing the Burros back off the ball. So another miscommunication here from the officials, and we're going to see what they're talking about.
Yeah, it was originally a stopped clock for an injury timeout, and it seemed like Jacob Dansby was able to wave him off and kind of keep the play going, but then the clock had stopped. They're looking to see how much time they need to put back, and now the clock is rolling.
Absolutely.
It's 8:40, 8:38, and ticking now, and now they're going to bring both teams off the field.
And the clock will probably have to be stopped. And as me and Drew see, Terry Slater is warming up for the Bobcats here. We're going to see if they bring him out. You know, he seems like a young guy, so maybe Kerry has that experience on him, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, the freshman quarterback, Terry Slater, number 18, like Ben said, is getting some action. And there has to be some kind of miscommunication here with the clock.
Running.
As the clock is still running while both teams are on the sideline. So we'll step away, get this situation sorted out. You're listening to the Burrow Broadcast Network.
And like the saying, the action is back, so we're back.
They're going to put 8:43 back on the clock. It ticked down to 7:10 with some kind of miscommunication up here in the booth with the play clock, but the refs have sorted it out. It's 8:43.
2nd and 6 for the Burros here. It seems like Burnett is in the backfield with Trotter. Heike Baker and Josh Cartmel out wide to the left. Trotter getting ready for the snap. Case Freeman out to the right. Trotter will take the snap, fake handoff to Burnett. He will throw it to Joshua Cartmel, and that is a great gain, a great play by Trotter. You know, great way to hit the slant. Seemed like a wide post or a wide slant there, and he gets to about the 12-yard line.
Yeah, a very good slant route there from Josh Cartmel. Very well ran. Loses the cornerback in the shuffle, and Deshaun Trotter has done just enough to keep the Burros drives going. They've really killed him with the run, but they did an excellent job mixing it up with the pass.
Yeah. Trotter is back, takes a snap, handed off to Burnett, who takes it up to wide to the right. Up the middle, he is not going down. He is still fighting. Oh my, that was almost big. He takes it to about the 5-yard line and then just wouldn't go down. So he gets a touchdown about the 6-yard line, but he was fighting.
Yeah, he was fighting, and he was originally hit in the backfield by Mr. Zach Lee, the linebacker, but Mr. Hicks, Kyle Hicks of the Hillsboro Burros, got behind him, started pushing him, gained a couple yards, and they're going to mark it down around the 6-yard line, as Ben said. So it'll be 2nd down, 5 yards to go. The first down marker seems to be about the 1.5-yard line.
Kyle Hicks is a 4-star long snapper, and we talked about Drew Thornton being Mr. Automatic. There's stuff behind that. So Kyle Hicks has been a key part to this single back formation for the Burros here. Burnett behind Trotter. Trotter will take the snap, fake handoff to Burnett. Trotter out wide to the left. So the left cuts back up the middle to the end zone and give him the signal. Touchdown, Burros.
Yes, sir. Deshaun Trotter, an absolutely phenomenal run and an absolutely phenomenal celebration there in the end zone. It was number 33 of Overton, Donnie Middlebrooks, who tried to challenge him. No sirree, said Mr. Trotter, trucked him over, got himself into the end zone on the far front left pylon here at Nick Kuchar Stadium, and the Burros find Patered once more.
And barring, I keep on saying this, but barring the field goal, it would be 35-7, the PAT, excuse me, with 7:14 left to go in this third quarter. The Burros with a great start to the half.
Another blowout brewing for Hillsboro.
And Trotter with the hold, and the kick is good. So Mr. Automatic is back at it again, number 80, Drew Thornton. He is about, I would say, with 5 PATs today, he is 9 for 10 for his last PATs, barring a block kick.
Yeah, and I mean, he's done an excellent job knocking it in. Been very reliable. Has yet to be asked to kick a field goal this afternoon because the Burros have been very prominent on offense. They've done an excellent job. 35 total points in the game so far. And the score right now, Burros 35, Bobcats 7. And this home game for Overton has certainly gotten away for him. But Ben, if Overton loses this football game and our Hillsboro Burros pull out the win, they will have overcome the one win that they had last year. They won 1 game last year, and with a win here, they could win 2 games so far in only 2 attempts.
Absolutely, and in dominant fashion, I would say. So, I mean, the Burros, it seems like Anthony Brown said it last year, the leaders have stepped up for this team this year, and they are looking a lot better than the recent years.
They are. They return home next week to take on Stewart's Creek, and they've got a lot more home games this year. Ben, Stewart's Creek, Kenwood, James Lawson, Page, Centennial, all winnable football games from what it's looked like so far from Hillsboro. And Ben, we see the backup kicker on to kick
Ben Ruiz,
once again. Ben Ruiz.
Javion Bradford still to return. Javion Howard, excuse me. Ruiz with the kick. It is another line drive. It skips at about the 22-yard line. Fumbled up by the returner, and he bounces off a tackle at about the 25-yard line, and he's tackled about the 25-yard line. Gain tackle by the Burros there.
Yeah, gang tackle, and Braden True, actually, number 1, phenomenal punt by kick by Ben Ruiz. It was a skipper, that kind of a line drive to about the 30-yard line, going left to right, skipped up to about the 15-yard line, and it was fumbled by True. He jumped on it, got a little bit of yards before an absolutely phenomenal team effort from the Burros return team.
Yeah, it's an interesting strategy, but, I mean, it definitely worked for the Burros there. Ruiz with that soccer leg, a straight kick, and, I mean, that's not easy to handle for sure.
It's not. It's not easy to handle. And, Ben, we see him. Ian Carey back on the field.
We will see Ian Carey back in the backfield. Pistol set. It will be Jadon Stafford out behind him. 2 receivers to the right. A pitch to Stafford. And he has got no room. And that is number 9, Javion Howard. And there is no room. He has tackled for a loss of about 2 yards. And that Burros front is just, they're making moves.
Yeah, it was a nice effort. And, we continue to say it. They've just been able to get pressure with minimal guys up front. They're not bringing blitzes. They're not having to bring guys down from the secondary. And it's just been a phenomenal push up front. I mean, that was just a 4-3 regular old cover 1 there from the Hillsboro Burros defense. And a couple guys were able to squirt through and make the tackle.
Absolutely. And so Javion Howard will be back in the backfield. 2 out to the right. Seems like the same set. 1 out to the left. The Burros front has been very dominant today. They seem like they have 3 linemen up front. 2 with Dominic Winter. Seems like a linebacker blitz. He sets up. Carey back to pass to number 1, and he makes a leaping effort. Great effort. Goes right through the hands. It was Connor Gallman out there trying to make the reception. But Sorrell Burton with the defense, and then really that ball, I wouldn't say that was easily catchable.
And I don't blame Sorrell Burton for letting him get by. I mean, who would have anticipated an Ian Carey pass in this game? His first pass attempt in front of the line of scrimmage tonight. Sorrell Burton a little caught off guard. Connor Gallman got some separation, but I will say Matthew Bean, Dwayne Washington, and Jaden York in the face of the youngster Ian Carey in the backfield.
And it's clearly evident that Overton knows that they are down 28 with 6:24 to go left in the third quarter, so they've got to air the ball out. So Carey will be back in the pistol set. It'll be Howard. He hands off to Howard. He breaks left to about the 23-yard line, trying to get the edge. And there is a stand up there, and he's not going down. He still hasn't gone down. It's pushed out by the Burros. I would say they mark him down at about the 29-yard line of Overton. And so that will not be enough for a first down.
I mean, and you love to see it if you're Mr. Mr. Greg Abner, and if you're Coach Anthony Brown. I mean, your leader out there, number 2, Dominic Leonard, has had, number 1, a phenomenal game. But on that play, he was able to go over there to the sideline, knock a kid down. He somehow stood up and he knocked him down again, stood over him, started talking to him. And that's what you want from a senior leader. He walked away at just the perfect time, didn't get a flag. He's competitive. He's hard-nosed. He's having a phenomenal game. 4 or 5 tackles on the night for the senior.
Absolute heart from that Burros team. And we will once again say the punt team is out for Overton. Elijah will be on the punt. He punts the ball to Bradford, who is returning.
The flag's down. Flags down.
Catch the ball. He trips a bit out of the 43-yard line. Tries to take it to the left edge. He's got nothing going. It'll be number 21 for Overton, who is Trent Edwards. We haven't seen much from today, but he was there to stop Bradford, who was trying to create something out of nothing.
And there is a flag down. I'm not sure what they're going to call here. It's going to be against Hillsboro, whatever it is. They're pointing in that direction the white cap is. And I'm interested to see what they mark this as. It was a solid punt. Javarian Bradford probably should have called for a fair catch. He stumbled back a little bit at their own 40-yard line. He was able to make a little something out of nothing before Trent Edwards eventually stacked him up.
Looks like they are re-kicking here. I'm not sure what the penalty was. It looks like it's on Overton. We're going to see what the head official says here. It says an illegal shift from Overton here, and that will bring them back, and they will re-punt the ball here.
Yeah, and they're going to call that illegal shift on number 40, Norhat Aziz. And that is tough. It's not like we've got a big leg back here who can pin them deep. So 10 or 15 yards is going to be detrimental. And it's going to be a 4th down and 11 from their own 24. And they're going to have to punt once again.
Yep. Elijah back to punt. It'll be Bradford once again returning for this Burrow team. He's had some great returns.
And they might try and block this.
Oh my goodness, the punt has hit a man in motion, and Andrew Teamer jumps on the ball. I do not think that is anywhere near legal. But it has hit a man in motion coming across the field while the snap happened. Hit off his helmet, bounced over the line of scrimmage, and Hillsboro jumped on the ball.
And we've got back-to-back illegal shifts once again. And just a terrible play from Overton. I mean, and Ben explained it pretty well, but they tried to send a man in motion right across the center. And the center snapped the ball while the man was in motion, which is obviously an illegal shift.
Twice already.
And then the ball proceeded to hit off the man's helmet, bounce over the line, and the fumble was recovered by Hillsboro. So they're just going to go ahead and take over on offense where the ball was marked at the Overton 29-yard line. So Hillsboro's going to get the ball off the fumble. The penalty was declined, and it'll be Burrow's ball.
Yeah, like you said, they declined the penalty, jumped on it about the 29-yard line. And we've seen that twice today from the long snapper and Elijah here. They're not really working that well. And there's another flag, a false start, seems like on the Burros. I'm not sure who.
They are going to call a false start on the Hillsboro Burros. I'm not too sure who it was either. It looked like number 62, Jaden York.
Right, and it'll be 5:18 left in the third quarter. Burros 35, Overton 7. First and 15 at about the 41-yard line. Trotter in the gun with Eric Cleaves to his right. Case Freeman motions over the middle. One out right, one out left. Fake handoff to Eric Cleaves. No, he fakes that. He fakes the non-handoff to Eric Cleaves, takes it up the middle, fights for a bunch of yards, and he gets about 2 or 3. I was absolutely fooled on that one. Thought he faked the handoff. He actually faked the pass, so Trotter with a good fake there on me at least, and so Eric Cleaves will fight for those extra yards.
Yeah, I mean, it was a nice handoff to Cleaves. He stiff arms a man, just not really enough to get anything going. He definitely loses a couple. It's going to be 2nd down and 13 yards to go. But, I mean, they have really used Case Freeman in a phenomenal way this afternoon. I've loved to see they've used him in motion. They've sent him back across the formation to block. They've used him as the lead blocker, and he's been one of the best H-backs so far that we've seen this season.
Yeah, there's a gain of 2 for Cleaves there with a penalty. So it'll be 2nd and 13 for the Burros. Cleaves still to Trotter's right. Fake handoff to number 13. It is dropped by number 13, Dalton Bush. He had a lot of room. It was a great curl route. Number 16, Jacob Dansby on the coverage there, but it just went right through.
Not much coverage, more just standing 5 yards away from him. And Dalton Bush, I mean, If they started at their own 33, Bush probably had that one caught around the Overton 24-yard line, the near sideline here by the Overton sideline, and it flung right through his hands. And Dansby caught a break there. That's going to save him in the film room. I'll tell you that much.
Got to catch the ball before you worry about making the play.
There you go.
It'll be Trotter with the single back behind him. Eric Cleves, 2 out to the right. It'll be Bush and I'm Javarion Bradford. Handoff to Eric Cleves at the middle, and he's got nothing. It'll be number 11 for Overton, Wesley Howard, coming in from behind and bringing down Cleves, and that will bring up 4th and 13 for the Burros. And I'm not sure what we'll see here. We might see a punt. We might see a kick. I don't see this being in kick range. So it seems like they are going for it.
It would be a very, very tough punt. It would be around 50 yards for Thornton. I'm just not sure that's in his range. And like Ben said, they're going to go ahead and keep the offense out on the field. Trotter, the senior, the QB, is going to come trotting back out with 3:54 to go in the third. Burros up 28 points. They're not taking their foot off the gas.
Absolutely. And, it'll be Dalton Bush and Trevor Hobbs out to the right. So the Burros obviously are bringing in some new players. Eric Cleves still to Trotter's right. He'll take the snap of the gun. Look right. He throws to Dalton Bush, and there's a flag. And it looks like PI on number 30.
Yep.
On number 30. And it will be on Carter Harmon.
And I'm not too sure. It's either on number 30, Carter
Jacob
Harmon,
Dansby.
but it was a late hold of the waist from Jacob Dansby. It was a slant route coming from our sideline, closest sideline to us, to across the field. And he was, just had him wrapped up around the waist. It was Dalton Bush was the intended receiver, and unfortunately for Overton, they're going to pick up a pass interference call. And this one's going to be walked off for some extra yards, some free real estate for Hillsboro.
Yeah, and talk about a bailout there. That was not going to be a working play there. I don't think the pass was being caught either way, but we'll take it.
Yeah, and I mentioned it again when their head coach, Overton's head coach, talked to George Plaster at the high school this afternoon. He said he didn't want to give Hillsboro anything easy. They were an experienced team. To Overton's, 10 to 15 younger players. They give them something free there. Give the Burros an opportunity to go up 4 scores.
Trotter will be in the gun, take the snap. It looks like a screen, fake screen. Throws to Javon Bradford, who the Overton receivers run into each other, and it is a touchdown, Burros.
And the Overton corners seem to just bang into each other. It was number 30 there, Carter Harmon, and number 32, Lex Corbin, just smacked right into each other, had him turned around like a DC cartoon. And oh my goodness, what a play from Javarion Bradford to break free a slant route from the left side to the right side to the middle of the end zone. And Hillsboro's punched this one in to make it 41-7.
And you were worried about Trotter's arm. He has showed it today. Last week we saw on that same slant play, there was a pick thrown.
Sure.
He airmailed a receiver. So he's working up there. And as we can see, Mr. Automatic, Drew Thornton is back on the pitch. Not the pitch, on the field. And it'll make it 42 Burros. Bobcats 7, 3:30 left in the third quarter, and we are going to hit the break and be back with the action. And we are back from the break. Burros will be kicking off to the south end of the field to the Overton territory, and it is Ben Ruiz on the kickoff one more time. And it seems like Javion Howard is still back to return. Ben Ruiz is now teeing up the ball. It is 3:30 left to go in the third quarter. Hillsboro in the white jerseys, green pants, green helmets. Overton the smoky grays, gray pants, red helmets. And Ben Ruiz will be kicking off here from the 40-yard line. He boots it. Is a high flyer. It's about the 17-yard line. Howard will pick it up, run to about the 20. Back out to the left to the 25, hit the edge at about the talking about a 30-yard line. But it seems like number 31.
Micah Craig,
who it seems he's done that twice already today.
Yeah, he's definitely been in on some special teams plays. He had a couple good tackles last week against McGavick as well. And honestly, another pretty solid kick that worked out well for the senior Ben Ruiz. Just kicked it, bounced around the 20-yard line, bounced into the arms of Howard around the 10, and it was a tough return. Good coverage by Hillsboro. And the Burros up 42-7, looking for their second win in 2 weeks.
Yeah, they spot the ball at the 31-yard line. The Burros are looking to keep the Bobcats at 7, 2:47 and the clock running still. Ian Carey is still out there. They are back in that pistol formation with Jadon Stafford in the backfield. He is back after not seeing much action last drive. Two receivers out wide to the right, one to the left. Ian Carey will take the snap, fake the screen pass, throws deep, and number 84 for Overton there was Matthew Coleman. And, there really wasn't much going. He ran out of bounds. I think it would have been illegal touching if he even caught it, but great coverage by the DBs there, and they were not letting him get to that ball.
Yeah, it was a nice and easy cover two there from Hillsboro. Burton was the original cornerback, but Eric Thomas, number 7, the senior, the safety, came over from about the 50-yard line and was able to make a play on that near sideline. Matthew Coleman, the youngster, really had no chance at that ball.
Absolutely. So it'll be Carey in the pistol formation, 2 minutes to go. He'll take the snap, hand off to Stafford, and there's not much going. He's brought down by Andrew Teamer, who tackles him about the 25-yard line. He was not stopping. He is hyped, man.
Yeah, he is hyped, and I would be hyped too. An absolutely phenomenal tackle by Andrew Teamer, an open field tackle. Some of the most exciting things to watch in all of football, and the Burros have done an absolutely phenomenal job of it so far. And Teamer continues to trend there to make it third down, and 10 or 11 yards to go. Call it 12.
We'll call it 12. Carey running back out, giving the Bobcats the play here. Burros have been very strong defensively so far this drive, and really this whole game.
This whole year.
It'll be Carey back under center. Stafford behind him. Linebacker blitz by Dominic Leonard. Cuts to the right. Stafford tackled by number 11, Case Freeman, and he is not going anywhere. And he will be tackled about the 33-yard line. I'd maybe give him 34. And Stafford just had nothing going there.
Yeah, he gets back to the original line, so it will be fourth down and somewhat manageable. I'll say they'll mark it probably third down and about 6 or 7 yards to go. But, Ben, you mentioned it. It was a really good linebacker blitz from the senior Dom Leonard, and it was picked up phenomenally by the H-back, number 12 for Overton, Nick Harris. He was able to kind of shun that block away and allow Ian Carey and number 3, Jadon Stafford, to get out on the right side, the far side from us, and pick up a couple of yards.
And, the Overton's debating staying on the field or not. The play clock
They're
is
going to
down
punt.
to 5.
They're going to punt.
And it looks like they will call a timeout and then punt the ball. Or maybe just take the delay game. That is what they will be doing. They'll be taking the delay game, and then we'll see Elijah punt the ball off to probably, I would assume, Javarion Bradford and this Burros receiving team.
Yeah, and they will just go ahead and take the delay of game. The white hat is going to signal it to us here, and closing in on the end of the third quarter.
Looks like they'll let it run out here. We are ending the third quarter. It is Burros 42, Bobcats 7, and they are not. I'm not sure what is going on. Do they not see the clock? And there it is. They're waving off. It'll be the end of the third quarter. Burros 42, Overton 7, and we will be back after the break. The teams have switched sides. We are back at the start of the fourth quarter. Overton will now be on the north side of the field, Hillsboro on the south. And Elijah will be back to punt for the Bobcats here. Bradford once again returning. And this Burros return team has been excellent today. Special teams has been well all around the ball. We're going to see if they can continue it here. Elijah will take a snap. It's a low snap. Picks the ball off the ground. Gets the punt off. Bradford returns it from about the 42. He fumbles the ball. A few tackles, and he is swung down by number 22, Elijah Irvin. Great special teams tackle, and he was not letting Bradford go anywhere.
Now, Bradford received it back at his own 35-yard line, and should have taken a fair catch. Just tried to make a little bit too much shake there. And like you said, Ben, Elijah Irvin, number 22 in grain red, was able to fly in and sling him down. That being said, with 11:30 to go in the fourth quarter, in your Hillsboro Burros up 42-7. This one seems quite far out of striking distance for the Bobcats.
Absolutely. You know, I would expect to see Hillsboro run the ball out here. And we have a new quarterback in for the Burros, and it is the sophomore Trey Hodges.
The second time we've seen him in 2 weeks, 2 blowouts, and a good sign to see the backups in the game if you're Hillsboro.
Absolutely. Trey Hodges will take the snap. Gio Reams to his left, and he fumbles the snap, and that is not a great way to start your game. He is sacked for about a loss of 7 yards there, and that's an unfortunate look.
Yeah, that is an unfortunate look. Maybe just a little bit of a miscommunication with the center or something along those lines. And, yeah, I mean, Trey Hodges just put the ball on the deck. And the center, Devin McClendon, may have just had a mix-up.
Yeah, you know, we'll see what happens here. 10:40 left to go in the fourth quarter. Clock running. 2nd and 16 for the Burros here. They're spotted about their own 34-yard line. Hodges in the gun. Reams to his left. 2 receivers out wide to the left, 1 to the right. Hodges looking around. Play clock is at 1. He takes a snap. It's a screen pass to Bradford. Bradford has 1 man to beat, and he stiff arms him, and he gets to the edge to about the 47-yard line. And Bradford, you know, he used his speed there, got the sideline, and he was not letting him push him out.
Yeah, great job from Javarian Bradford to get outside on this near sideline, and Trey Hodges does an absolute bullet out there, gets over the head of the Overton DB, and I mean, he's just a smaller DB out wide for Overton, number 28, Jordan Cox, and he was just unable to make anything happen there. Great gain, and it's still going to be 3rd down and short. Call it 3rd down and 2 as the chains are moving on the far sideline here at Nick Kudra Stadium.
Absolutely. The ref is talking to Hodges here. Seems like they're going to stand over the ball, make sure they fix the chains. The chains are a bit messed up, and it'll be 3rd and 2. 9:30 left to go. Hodges will be in the gun with the team. Reams to his left. Hodges talking with the center. 2 out to the left, 1 to the right. And there's a full blitz by the Bobcats here. And Reams bounces off a lineman, tries to get the outside. Reams to the 50, to the 45, to the 40. Runs a man over and pushes him in the ground. He's still going. He is still going. Did they mark him down? Did they mark him down? He is in the end zone if they didn't. But no, they mark him down at about the 36-yard line. And he ran over number 33 for the Bobcats there, Donnie Middlebrooks.
Yeah, he does an excellent job getting outside. And like you said, Ben, you mentioned it. He bounces off that right tackle. It looked like it was number 62, Jaden York. He's been there all night, been an absolute dog. And this time bounces off the back of him on the far sideline, cuts it up the right side of the field, and moves the chains. They did mark him down or else it would have been a touchdown. But his butt and knee both did hit the ground.
Absolutely. Hodges will be in the gun again. Love that gun set.
Play clock winding down. Here they go.
Hand off to Reams one more time. He cuts up the middle. What a great cut. And he's not going down. He's tackled about the 30-yard line. And they had him there, but he had a nice little jump cut to get back to the middle of the field and then swarmed by the Bobcats there.
Yeah.
It'll be 2nd and 5 for the Burros here. 42-7. 8 minutes to go in the quarter, in the game, technically. Burros are in the white jerseys, green pants. It'll be number 32 for the Burros in the backfield alongside of him. Braden Hightower. We saw some action from him last week. He's back in the backfield to the left of Hodges. 2 out to the left, 1 to the right. Hodges will take the snap, hand off to Hightower. He gets up the middle, and he's still breaking tackles. He's breaking tackles out to the 30, to the 20. He's still 80. Trips at about this. Did they mark him down? He trips at about the 17-yard line. He had room, tried to cut it back up to the middle, and he slipped.
Yeah, he definitely did have room. Nice little path cleared there, but he had a nice little jump cut, pushing off his left foot to his right foot near the far sideline as they move right to left on your radio dial. And a nice run by the sophomore running back Braden Hightower to make it 1st down and 10 for Hillsboro. A much-needed burst of energy on this, what could be final drive of the game as we close in on 7 minutes to go in the game.
Yeah, the Burros here, they've had a great job of establishing the run this drive, and they are really just letting that clock run. You know, play clock is down to 5 here. Hodges, Hightower in the backfield once again to his right. Hodges will take the snap, hand off one more time to Hightower up the middle. He takes it to about the 11-yard line, and Hightower just didn't go down. A bunch of leg tackles, and it'll be 2nd and about 6 for the Burros here.
Yeah, nice block out there by Baker Jean Jameau, also known as Juju, the 6'7", 265 left tackle. We've mentioned him a couple times before. He's just out there towering over people. He's got an offer from the University of Alabama, Birmingham, and it shows, man. 6'7", pushes the way for Braden Hightower to get out there on that power to the left side. And they're going to go ahead and bring a new man in the backfield. It's going to be the senior Giovanni Reams.
Yeah, and we've seen that UAB connection from many Burros here. Kike Baker, like we said, is also committed to the UAB, and he's showed out tonight. Hodges will hand off to number 6, Gio Reams, who tries to get up the middle, and he's just flung around, but it really worked out for him. He got a bunch of extra yardage, and I think he'll get to about the 6, maybe the 7-yard line to make it about a 3rd and 1 for the Burros here.
Yeah, and you mentioned that UAB connection, Ben. Obviously, Vager, Jean Jameau, Kike Baker on the defensive side of the ball, but 2 volleyball players from the Hillsboro State Tournament run last year, and Summer Sneed and Mia Reese, who are making their freshman year appearance this year for the UAB Blazers. So that Hillsboro UAB connection riding strong, and the play riding strong right now at Nick Kuchar Stadium, up by 35 points.
Absolutely. We're going to see if the Burros can punch this one in to get the first down here. It'll be Trey Hodges in the gun. Reams to his left. Handoff once again. Reams gets to about the 5, to the 4, to the 3, and he's brought down about the 2-yard line here. Reams was not going down. The Burros get the first down, and that's exactly what they needed.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see what they do. They are going to make it first down and goal for Hillsboro. So a nice run from Giovanni Reams to move the chains, get him off the field, and make it first down and goal from about the 2 or 3 yard line. And a timeout is on the field. So when they take a break, we take a break. 5:23 to go in the 4th here at Nick Kuchar Stadium. Burros 42, Bobcats 7.
We are back from the break. 5:23 left to go in the game here. Burros 42, Overton 7. Hillsboro has their ball first and goal from the 3-yard line. We've seen many backups coming into the game. We still got Gio Reams in the backfield. Trey Hodges, the backup quarterback, the sophomore, trying to get his reps in here in the vast blowout we have going on.
And they're still waving the Overton flag down by the student section.
Got
very little school spirit from the Bobcats, as they are losing by 35 in back-to-back week blowouts to start this season off.
Absolutely. Hodges will take the snap.
Fumble.
Oh, no. Fumble by the snap. Gio Reams picked the ball off the ground, and the Burros getting is a touchdown. Burros.
Giovanni Reams. Absolutely phenomenal improv there from number 6, Giovanni Reams. A fumbled snap. He picked it up, started falling forward, and just kept on running. An excellent play by number 6, Giovanni Reams. And yes, he's 5'9", 175 pounds, but he's running all over Overton.
Absolutely. And they wrote it up. I don't think that's how they wrote it up, but it worked out perfectly. Trey Hodges seemed to fumble snap, and Reams just picked it up with his left hand and just ran it right in the end zone, right behind his blockers. It'll be Drew Thornton on the kick, the PAT, Trey Hodges the hold, and the kick is, once again, what else would it be but good? It'll be Burros 49, Overton 7, 4:52 left to go in the game.
A 42-point lead from Hillsboro here, just absolutely commanding this game, and you definitely love to see it. They don't play their first region game until James Lawson in week 6. After that, they play at Nolensville, home against Page, at Glencliff, and home against Centennial. So they have got a lot of region games on that back half of the schedule, but they've got some time, right? At Overton, they were home against McGavick last week, back-to-back blowouts and MNPS rivalry games. Definitely something that means a lot to the program. And next week against Stewart's Creek, they got an opportunity to be 2-0 this year at John Cohen Stadium.
Absolutely. They've been stellar in these MNPS games, and it's something that you love to see as a Burros team that won one game last year. They are really putting it out this year, and they've looked very solid in these 2 games.
And you do love to see the wins against fellow Metro schools, but you definitely want to expand that win.
Absolutely.
Go out, compete in the region. When I talked to Coach Anthony Brown, he kind of took the stance of the underdog in the region this year. They want to go out. They want to go to Nolensville, win that game, home against Centennial and Page, and win those region games.
Ruiz will kick the ball off here. It's a liner again. Javon Howard. Ball goes through his hands. He's going to pick the ball up at the goal line, and they are going to mark it down as a touchback, I would assume. And The Bobcats will start with the ball at the 20-yard line in their territory.
I'm not too sure how that would be a touchback if he touched it.
I'm truly not sure.
Maybe he didn't. It did look like from here he was trying to receive
right
a line
through his hands
drive
to me.
from the senior Ben Ruiz around the 15-yard line and just slipped right through his hands, right through the back of the end zone. They do call it a touchback though, so Overton will take over from their own 20, as been mentioned, and Hillsboro is going to see some new faces, some younger faces on the defensive side of the ball. We'll see what they can do.
Jadon Stafford limbs off the field for the Bobcats here. You know, that's really not good for a team that they will need him in winnable games, and that will hurt him. Ian Carey is still out at quarterback. You know, we talked about Terry Slater coming in, but we have not seen that yet. Ian Carey is still out there in the gun. 1 to his right, 3 out left. Takes the snap. He drops back, about 10-yard drop. Drops it off to number 9, Javon Howard, and he gets absolutely nothing. He is slung down by number
7, Eric Thomas, was the guy in on the tackle, and it was a slip screen out to Howard on the far sideline. He tried to cut it up, and Eric Thomas was just there. A full-body tackle brings him down inside the 20-yard line. It's going to be 2nd down and 11 for Overton. But a great job from Eric Thomas coming down from his cornerback spot to make the play. And a lot of new faces into the game. Number 34 and number 35, Gabe Carter and Sidney Hoskins come in to play that linebacker spot. And it's going to look like just a simple old 4-3 cover 2 formation here for Hillsboro.
There'll be 3 to go in the fourth quarter here. Carey is in the gun once again. Howard hands off to Howard. Cuts right, cuts back up the middle, cuts back to the right, to the 30, to the 35. He's got a lot of room.
He might score.
40, 50, 45, 40, getting caught. Brought down by Sidney Hoskins about the 27-yard line. Great chase down tackle there from Hoskins.
Yeah, and a great chase down tackle. Not to mention, he tried to go for that strip. He brought him down from behind, brought that right hand over, tried to punch it out of number 9's right hand up that sideline. But I will say, great seal job by the right side of that Overton Bobcats offensive line. Great job by Howard getting out using the speed to beat these backups for Hillsboro. And Sidney Hoskins, I mean, he's taking pride in this game. He doesn't want to be the one to give up the second touchdown of the game, and that's definitely a program builder. You have the guys in the game, late in the game, who do not want to give up scores. They want to be able to compete, and they want to keep their foot on Overton's throat tonight.
For sure. These guys on the field right now, they might not be starters. They're trying to earn that job. There's 100% effort in this Burros team, and Carey will take the snap, hand off to number 5, Braden True, who tries to get up the middle, and a great low tackle there from number 28, Jeffrey Wood. And he goes down low, gets True's legs, and that is still a solid gain of about 11 yards for True there.
Yeah, I mean, Jeffrey Wood, an excellent tackle, only 170. The junior DB had to come down from his safety spot to make that tackle. Made a good decision going low on him because he had to go low on the taller man.
It'll be 1:30. Clock is still ticking. We are going into the bottom plays of the game here. It'll be carrying the gun still. True to his left. Motions Caleb Johnson or Wesley Howard over the middle. Hands off to True. Gets up to the 15-yard line, and that'll be a gain of 5, and it'll bring up 2nd and about 6 for this Bobcats team.
The D lineman, Don Turner Jr., he's only a sophomore out there getting some action. He comes down. He's the left end in this situation. He comes all the way over to the far side, the right side of the field, to make that play. And a good job by Don Turner Jr., the youngster coming in here making plays, and these JV players for Hillsboro so far showing some effort.
The clock is still ticking. It'll be about 45 seconds. I'm not sure if Overton's trying to put one in the end zone here. Carey is still in the gun. Hands off to True one more time. Javon Howard. And he's brought down by number 53 for the Burros. That will be Corian Phillips, and they were not letting him get anywhere.
Now, Corian Phillips, a great job. He was lined up as just a straight defensive tackle, sheds a block, gets a tackle. And so far, I mean, Hillsboro out there playing with pride. And I hate to say it for Bobcat fans who may be tuning in, but a player in a gray jersey is down on the field. And it is going to be an offensive lineman, it seems, for the Bobcats.
Seems like
interested to see who this one is.
Number 62, Lamont Willis. And that is brutal. You know, we saw Wyatt Lorraine last week get injured, and you hate to see a player hurt.
Yeah, quarterback for the McGavick Raiders last week did go down with a bit of a leg injury. And late in the game with only 34 seconds to go, you lose number 62, Lamont Willis. And definitely wondering the significance of this injury, whether it is just cramps due to the heat or some kind of serious injury. He did kind of get folded up in the backfield when Corian Phillips shed that block. And as there's an injury, we'll go to break. You're listening to the Burrow Broadcast Network.
We are back from the break. It'll be Burros 49, Bobcats 7. They're at their own 12-yard line. There's 34 seconds left to go in the game. Bobcats are still trying to punch it in. At the Hillsboro 12-yard line. There we go. Thank you, Drew. And the Bobcats are trying to punch one in, try to bring it to a four-score game.
Yeah, and they've got all sophomores up front for Hillsboro. It's always good to see some younger guys go in and get reps in a game like this, a metro rivalry that, unfortunately for Overton, has gotten out of hand. But for all the people listening who may be Burrow fans, is definitely good news. This one's fumbled in the backfield.
Yeah, Carey, oh my goodness. Carey fumbled the snap. Howard dropped the ball, picked it back up off the ground, and he runs to the end zone, cuts it up the middle, and they would mark him down at the 1-yard line. I'm not going to lie to you. That was a touchdown.
He did. He was marked a little short. They're going to try and punch it in with 5 seconds left.
Wow, they are going to try to punch this one in. They get it off. Carey spikes the ball. He spikes the ball with 0 seconds left in the game. There was 1 second left.
Overton, and that's going to be ball game.
And that will be ball game. It was a great game by Hillsboro. Interesting end of the game there, but it's high school football. You'd love to see it.
You do love to see it. Your Hillsboro Burros, and we talked about the keys to the game. Coach Abner, this defense, they really did come to play. Only let up 14 points in 2 weeks. And to